So maybe this could be the most important question of your entire career. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? Thoughts?
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. This is the Beyond the Mouse podcast, the podcast for all things Disney for NPR Illinois Community Voices and for the Front Row Network. I'm your host today, Craig, joined by my co-host, Miss Vanessa Ferguson.
Hello.
And Mr. Brett Rutherford.
Well, hello there.
This is an exciting day because not only do we get to talk to Jordan Fisher, who has been sort of a mainstay in Disneydom for so many years already, not even 30 years old yet. And he is like one of those people that when you think about the parks, when you think about Disney, you think Jordan Fisher. We get to talk to him today, but we also get to talk to you a bit about the brand new Pixar movie, Turning Red, which we were given access to. So thank you to Pixar for that opportunity. And this is not going to be spoilery at all, but I did want to spend just a couple of minutes up front telling you about this film. And I'll go ahead and start, and then I'm going to pass it over to Vanessa, because I will say that I think, like many Pixar movies, this movie has a particular lane and a particular target audience that it's going for. In my mind, what Pixar does better than any other production studio on the planet is speak to lived experiences and to emotions. And so to me, this was the story for middle school girls and middle school women who are starting to have lots of things going on in their life, and they have lots of questions. I do think that middle school boys also can get something out of this as well. But certainly as a 35-year-old man, I don't know that I was the target demographic towards this film specifically. I got Soul last year. I got that whole movie about making sure that if you have a midlife crisis, you know, like, what's your value in the universe? I got that last year in Soul, loved it. And now this story is for another audience to be able to see themselves on screen as well. Vanessa, what are your thoughts in Turning Red?
Well, having been a prepubescent girl, I can recall back to, I know, right? Shocker. Anyway, I do recall back to those memories of feeling awkward and being confused by what you want to be, and maybe kind of wanting to be an adult but kind of not, and not wanting to disappoint mom, and so I really enjoyed this movie. I don't want to talk much more because I don't want to give away spoilers, but I will say this movie does take place in the early 2000s, and so this could have very easily have been a movie titled Vanessa's Childhood, because there were so many early 2000s references from there was one that hit me so hard when all the girls step out and you see their feet and you see that they're wearing the chunky sandals from the early 2000s. I had so many pairs of those. I'm embarrassed by I thought they were never going to go out of style. Like, we need to stock up on these. These will never go out of style. They did. They also had like jelly wristbands and Tamagotchi pets, which, oh man, I wanted one so bad. All my friends had one. So it was so cool to see this movie and to be reminded of that time in my life. And I think they did a great job at it. And I think it will also speak to young girls and young boys watching this film that are in that middle school age. I think they'll see a lot of messages that really resonate with them. So hats off to the makers of Turning Red. It was a great film, and I'm so excited to talk to Jordan Fisher.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk to Jordan Fisher as well. Brett, how about you?
Oh yeah, I'm happily ever after, and so many Disney moments that he's had in his career. I mean, that we get to actually talk to him is such a good thing, and I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
He gets to play Robaire in this particular film, and he's going to be a member of Four Town, which is the fictional boy band. As Vanessa said, this spoke to me because the age of growing up in NSYNC and 98 Degrees and Backstreet Boys, and I think O-Town comes to mind. Like, there's all these boy bands going through my mind right now, and so it was cool to see that. You get to see Jordan as one of those boy band members in this. There's some great music also in this film. It's actually was helped by Billie Eilish in some of the writing. So really just wonderful as far as the music is concerned. Jordan is so, like I said at the beginning, prolific in the Disney space that I cannot wait to talk to him. So we are going to get out of your way, and we're now going to talk to Jordan Fisher. Jordan, it is so great to get a chance to talk to you today. You know, you've had such a diverse career from Disney to Broadway to being a superhero and to doing voiceover work and being in the studio. Can you talk about how this experience on Turning Red differed from any other experiences that you may have had in your career?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, thank you. It's it's been a journey, man. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun in my career. I've gotten to do a lot of things that have made me really happy, and one of those things, I got a baby boy coming in June, and I got a hidden Mickey behind my ear tattooed as my first tattoo ever, and that connective tissue there for me, that like family orientation and the films and growing up as such a fan of these films is one thing, but to be able to be a part of them is another. Then there's this other level of like, oh wait, my relationship with Disney has been so cool and so diverse and has touched so many different angles and lanes and whatnot, which is really great. But the one thing that I have yet to do truly is see a character that looks like me actually feels, it's fun. It's like a concert experience when you're watching this film, but like when you see this character, for me to know that when the character opens his mouth and sings, it's going to be my voice, and my son is going to know that. My son is going to like hear that and see that and be able to like connect the dots there. And that makes everything different about this project, is that this is for the first time in my life I got to work on something that was not just for me or just for my audience, but for my kid. Yeah. And that is the coolest thing in the world.
6-year-old, and I'll tell you, it's so many amazing experiences ahead of you. So congrats on fatherhood. Welcome to the family. And it's so great. You have so many good things to look forward to. Vanessa, I think you had a follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking of your career, you've had a lot of experiences working with Disney, and it kind of reminds me of John Stamos. Reading through your credits, it's like you're in a little bit of everything with Disney. So, what's it like being in that Disney family? Like, do you and the other Disney people hang out together? Are you like in a text thread with John?
It's so funny. It's definitely a club. That's for sure. Like we're the cool Disney adults, right? Like we're the Disney adults that we don't shove it in people's faces, but by God, like we're gonna be a part of it. Like I'm going to the parks regardless. Like my wife and I are gonna be there. Ellie and I are gonna be at the parks regardless of anything else going on, right? Yeah, no, there's definitely like a camaraderie, I think, like when Neil Patrick Harris, obviously another Disney adult that he and his family love going to the parks and all of that stuff. He and I are definitely good friends. We talk about it all the time. Taron Killam, like there's a bunch of us that thankfully like have had different experiences and different relationships with Disney in all sorts of different ways. But like that one cohesive thing about it, we just love everything about what it is. There's something about, curling up and throwing on a classic. That's our lifeblood, it's so important. But no, man, John and I have not met up at Club 33 or anything like that yet. Eventually.
Yet.
Brett, I think you had the next question.
Well, I read that you and your family moved to Los Angeles to pursue your career, and you've been so successful that we have to ask, do you have any advice that you would give someone wanting to move to LA and follow in your footsteps?
That's very sweet. It's funny. I actually just moved out of LA. We just moved to Florida. But LA has been home for 15 years and I love it. I'm very, very proud of the city. I claim LA. LA is home for me. That is like, that's where I became who I am. And that's really it. That's probably the perfect segue. It's where I became who I am. So I think that anybody that wants to move to LA to pursue their career needs to know a handful of things before they hop on the plane. One of them is at the end of the day, when there's if you had every option in the world, is this the thing truly that you can't live without? Do you have to create? Not do you wanna, do you have to? do you need to create?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then please get on a flight because LA needs you, right? Mm-hmm. Secondly, find your hood. It takes a long time to get settled somewhere. Don't rush it. Don't spend your first couple of months in one neighborhood and think that that's, like, oh, LA is not my vibe. LA has like 30 different neighborhoods that you need to try. I recommend like bouncing around, get an Airbnb, do some couch hopping for a little bit, get a vibe for where you like LA, because you like LA, even if you've never been. You like LA. You just don't know where you like LA yet. So figure out where you like LA. Once you can like plant your roots and you can call that your digs and you feel really good and really comfortable there, then you've set the table to wake up every day and deal with the inevitable rejection that you're going to face, deal with the inevitable hard times, deal with the inevitable, my bank account is running low, I don't know if I have gas to get to this audition. These are all things that I have gone through. This is all stuff that made me who I am. And LA is a big part of that for me. I can promise you that it would have been a completely different experience had I not been happy in the neighborhood that I was living in and like with the people that I surrounded myself with. So find your community, get a dog.
Always that's a good advice. Yes, always.
That's so great. Well, going back to Turning Red, and really this is a great segue to that, the last answer that you gave. Turning Red, to me, focuses so much on emotions and also on mental health and focus. I loved the instances of mindfulness and meditation throughout the film as well. That's something that I kind of discovered over the pandemic, was to try to focus myself and use that. I'm wondering if you had any insights into how you maintain your mental health, or do you practice any of those types of meditation, mindfulness, or anything in your daily life?
Yeah, well, I'm a mental health advocate, so you're asking the right person. I'm a big therapy fan. That is how I maintain my mental health. I have a handful of therapists actually for all sorts of different things. Maintaining mental health is, I'm so grateful that it's a big part of our just like social culture and our discussions like day to day now. It's so important, especially like fatherhood, right? Being a kid now is nothing like it was when we were a kid. It is just a totally different. It's a totally different thing now, and everything is at your fingertips. So if you aren't intentional about every breath that you take, they're going to get wasted at some point in time. You have to connect with yourself, and then also that connective piece with her mom. With the family orientation of it all, and transparency, and being able to dialogue and have open discussions and have conversations about like what actually is going on. And how deeply, deeply important that is. Like, she needed to know that she was not only like not alone in this thing, but truly felt seen and heard and hugged and loved and cherished and valued. And all of those things are so important. We have to do that with ourselves as well. And I think that's where so many people get lost, especially kids nowadays. Like, Gen Z is so wild because like, y'all remember being 14. My nephew's going through this right now. No one in the world is more important than his friends, and we see a lot of that in this as well. But at the end of the day, whoever you call your family, whether they're blood or not, whoever you call your family at the end of the day is who really, truly, genuinely loves you through everything. Even when you turn into a raging red panda, like, they're going to be there to hug you on the other side of it. And that's so important. Mental health is massive. We have to keep talking about it. We do have to keep talking about it. We have to keep making things like this. I'm so grateful that this piece is out to encourage kids to be open. Let's talk about like what's going on. What are you feeling?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Greg and I we're all big fans of good mental health here at Beyond the Mouse. Fun question for you though. You play Robaire, a member of Four Town in this movie, and Four Town is a boy band. Did you ever consider joining a boy band or want to be part of a boy band as you were thinking about your career?
When I was much younger, the MTV or VH, somebody was doing some sort of like make a boy band kind of thing that I was a finalist for some it was a long time ago, and nothing ever ended up happening with that thing. But that was the only time in my life that I ever actually considered it. That and probably like when I was a kid and I got a VHS copy of Darren's Dance Grooves, and I learned like Bye 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 and Digital Get Down by NSYNC, and I learned all that choreography and was like, this is pretty fun. But yeah, no, this is I don't think that joining a boy band is in the cards for me personally, for Jordan.
Yeah.
But man, the idea of being able to like be a part of one in any way is awesome. And I will forever be a Four Town member.
Yeah.
Immortalized in film.
That's right.
That's right.
So maybe this could be the most important question of your entire career. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? Thoughts? I love that you're taking so much time to think about it too. This fills my heart with such joy.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jordan Fisher.
I had to like go to the deep cuts for a second.
Yeah.
Well, Backstreet Soul, right? They were older. They were a little more soulful. They were a little more rugged. They were a little more, rowdy rough boys. NSYNC was just that. Musically, those guys were doing things that no other boy band was doing. They had a crispness and real musicianship. Like whenever they performed a cappella stuff, like they sounded incredible together. They were, in my opinion, the GOAT of the boy band era. I don't think that there's another group that has ever done or could ever do what NSYNC did in the time that they did it, late 90s, early 2000s. It was next level. If that existed now, could you imagine if NSYNC existed today with social media?
Wow. Oh, yeah. They would be, they already are. I mean, look at, Justin's entire career since then, and even some of the other members and what they've been able to do with producing and everything else. It's just incredible. So it'd be tenfold, I think, in social media for sure. So middle school is about the time that this is set with our characters, and middle school can be sort of a tough time. It's a discovery period. You're kind of trying to learn who you are as a person. And I love that in your interviews, you're so open with your past and some stories that you're able to share. Do you have any stories about you from middle school, kind of that self-reflective, self-discovery period?
Big transitional period for me. Middle school. Middle school was everything that I'd known up to that point was gymnastics, and I traded it in for art. I fully, like, every hour spent doing gymnastics and my goals of reaching the Olympics one day shifted with my falling in love with art. And that happened my 5th grade year. And by the end of my 6th grade year was working professionally in theater. And so I left public school, started traveling, started working, doing all of that. That all happened in middle school for me. So like a lot of the big social shift of what is that thing where all of a sudden you wake up and all you care about is what your friends are doing and what's going on with your friends and things like that. I was working, and my friends were either part of my kind of extracurricular that I had to travel to go do and see and whatnot, or they were friends of mine that I was working with in whatever show I was working on or whatever set that I was working on, whatever the case may be. And that during middle school time, when you don't want to look at yourself in the mirror and you're just, awkward stage is just blooming and it's just gross and you're annoyed with everything, and it's just so much. There's just so much. It's very bad humor on God's part, in my opinion, that like all of a sudden for like a 5-year period early in your life, you wake up every day mad at the world. And I just makes me sad. It makes me sad. That's like a thing, but and I guess there really aren't any like funny stories, but that was, middle school was one of the biggest transitional periods of my life. And I knocking on 30, that's still the case. And I'm like, it just goes to show how powerful that time is and how much grace we need to give these kids. Like, and man, there's just a lot. There's a lot going on. Being a kid, I'm so glad I'm not in school in 2022.
Well, and think about the purpose of Turning Red, the direction that it's given, the story. You're going to help so many middle school kids out there through this movie, is my prediction, because you're this film that is certainly the target audience. It's showing that you are going to be going through changes and you do need to find yourself. But you know what? On the other end, you have friends along the way, you have family along the way, and it's going to work out okay. So thanks for that message to middle schoolers everywhere, really.
Oh my God, 100%.
So, there's a lot of wonderful scenes in this movie, and we're talking about some of those touching moments in the film, but I wanted to see what was your favorite scene in the movie. For me, I have to say, I really, really enjoy Twerking Red Panda, but but that's me. What's your favorite scene in the film?
It's easily when the aunties show up. Oh my God. Like that was, we just kept rewinding that part. Like I just kept going back to, she can't wait. Like she just like I've met all of those aunties. Like I have like all of my Pinoy friends, all of my like Korean friends, everyone's got those aunties in their life that are just, they're loud and like, what's going on? What's going on? Wake up, mama. Oh, you look like your father. Like what's good? It's fun. I don't know. It's homey for me. That's very like cozy and homey. So when the aunties show up, they're my favorite. I stand. I love the aunties. They're my favorite characters.
That's awesome. Brett, you had our next question.
Well, let's see. So the 2000 references of Tamagotchi pets and boy bands and friendship bracelets and Destiny's Child Bootylicious. So do any of these speak to you because you were, of that age, around that age? Yeah.
That was my everything. I had like 9 Tamagotchis. They were all like the max level. That was like prime. Are you kidding? The new Fast and Furious movie, like Fast and Furious 2 is about to come out, and Lord of the Rings was coming out.
So you didn't have to do any research to find that time, right? Yeah. So.
No, I just went, right. Yeah, the best time. Oh man, music was so great. Oh, movies, everything had like fashion was so fun. Like I felt like everything was just so much more colorful. And that's beautifully reflected. That's so gorgeously reflected in this film.
That is good. Yeah.
It was really neat that they set it in that time frame because it totally took me back to those days and boy band crazes and everything else coming into the 2000s. It was just wonderful. You mentioned that you have a little one on the way and that you're really excited for him to be able to see this someday and to see you represented in this film. But are there words of wisdoms or plot points, or is there some message that you're taking from this film that hopefully you can use as a parent looking at the other side?
You never, ever, ever know, ever, even if it's your own kid. And as much as you want to, because it's your kid, you really just truly never know fully, and you never will, what's going on internally for anyone else. Never. You can think that you do. Even when they're going through that thing that you've experienced, it's not exactly the way that you've experienced it. And they're not navigating it the same way that you are too, because everything that led up to the point that you experienced that thing was very different from them. So you were prepared in a different way than they are, right? So your experience is just your experience, and it's never, ever, ever anyone else's exactly. It's completely unique. Even if on paper it's the same thing, it's not. And that's what I'm taking away from this too, is it doesn't matter what you've gone through, even if I've gone through it twice over. It's not like yours. Yours is different, whatever it is. That's what I'm taking. And I hope that everyone else does too.
That's a great message.
So, Jordan, we are very lucky to have you on Beyond the Mouse because I believe you are our first ever Mirror Ball trophy winner. So, can you tell us about, all the work that goes into Dancing with the Stars? Because it seems really challenging to us, but you also make it look effortless.
That's the effort. Making anything look effortless is the effort. It's like the hardest thing to do. That's very kind. I had the time of my life. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. I love it. I made some of the best friends I've ever made in my life. I still have them. You join a family. People talk about the Dancing with the Stars family. It's so real. It's so real. When you've done it, you are part of it for forever. And you love it, and you watch the show, and you're a fan of the show afterwards. Like I never thought that I would be stoked to watch the next episode of Dancing with the Stars next. But after I did my season, can't live without it. Ready for the next season. Just love it. Such a great experience. Probably more so because it ended up working out pretty well for me and my partner. Lindsay's amazing, and she became my sister. It was amazing. The work. I thought I'd be able to juggle all sorts of other things and projects and stuff. And by week 5, call my team was like, everything is on hold until I'm done. It is exhausting. It's exhausting work. It hurts the body, hurts the brain, hurts the emotions. But man, it's rewarding.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm so glad you shared that because watching it, and I know sometimes the celebrities on the show, they will talk about being on tour. And I'm like, how are they doing this? How are they doing choreography and working? So I'm glad you kind of shared that behind the scenes insight. I'm hoping you'll also kind of maybe tell some behind the scenes stories of being in the Broadway cast of Hamilton. You replaced Anthony Ramos, and it's such an incredible show. I imagine it's so fun getting to be backstage and just be a part of it because it's just going to be something iconic for many generations to come. Can you give us any behind the scenes story or memory that's your favorite?
Man, well, it was 6 years ago, but it was my first dream in my life was to work on Broadway. It was the very first thing that I wanted to do with my career. And my team said, let's make a name in TV and in film, and Broadway will call. And that's eventually what happened. And thankfully, it was this show. It happened to be Hamilton, and I had the time of my life. I mean, kind of the same thing. When you work on Broadway, you create friendships that become family and that lasts for forever. And I have that with my Hamilton family, my Dear Evan Hansen family. It's wonderful. And and especially that time too, I replaced Anthony, we still had half the original cast. So it was peak. It was like a Bieber concert when he was just getting started. Every night I'd roll up to the theater and there'd be people around the block hoping that they might luck out and get one of the 4 available lottery tickets that day. And it was
a great thing. Yeah. Wow.
It was wild.
Well, so cool. Moving back to Disney for just a little bit, you were married in Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. And what special memories do you have of your wedding day that were uniquely Disney? Or just that you remember one from that day? I'm like, do you have, there's a lot going on in your mind.
No, but not everyone gets married in front of a castle or rides down on a main street.
Disney. It was a complete accident. We didn't plan on having our wedding at the parks, Magic Kingdom, but man, we were so grateful. Tony Shepard, he's such a dear friend, and obviously the height of COVID, we had plans to get married in Hawaii, but the state wasn't letting anything happen really. And after the 3rd time we had to push the date, we finally were like, let's just elope. Let's just go to the courthouse. Let's just be done, and
right.
We'll do the ceremony in a couple of years when it's easier to. And it was right around that time we got that call from our friend Tony, and he said, I think we can make something really great happen, and we'll call you tomorrow. And he did, with this really beautiful plan. And it was a dream. I think definitively it was a dream. that happened to be real for us, and we couldn't be more grateful. We reminisce about it all the time.
That's good. That's so wonderful. Well,
Yeah,
that.
especially, it was so special. And these are
That's
closest
great.
people. I got to make eye contact with every person in the ceremony, like everyone that was there. Whole wedding party. There are 30 people in total.
Oh,
And
wow. That's
it
great.
was exactly how we wanted it to be.
That's great. That
Just
is great.
beautiful.
Well, congratulations.
Towards the end of our time with you. So Vanessa has some rapid fire things about Disney and the parks that she wants you to take on here.
Okay.
Yes. Well, we know you're a big Disney fan and you had us at Hidden Mickey, by the way. So we love that about you. So we want to know rapid fire some of your favorites at the park. So we'll start off and in Disney property. So what is your favorite Pixar film?
Pixar, The Incredibles.
Perfect. Favorite Disney park? It's like picking from
Go
children.
with your heart, you know.
Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Of course.
Perfect. Favorite attraction?
Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite Disney restaurant?
Tiffin's Animal Kingdom.
We get that one a lot.
Wow.
People
yeah.
love Tiffin's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's unreal. We've had Tiffin's before.
I have not.
I think
I'll have
Brett
to.
is
It'll
our
be on our
go-to
list.
Tiffin's.
No, I
Right?
haven't.
No, you
I
have
haven't-
none
no,
of
I
us.
haven't
You know
yet.
what? It's funny because we've talked to like Tony Baxter and other people and they will go on. A lot of people go on and on about Tiffin's and we haven't gone yet. But we
Run to
will now.
Tiffin's.
Okay, we're going
Okay.
into 2 weeks, so we're
Tiffin's
going to make that change. Yes.
This is like a top 5 restaurant. I have circumnavigated the globe multiple
Yes.
times. I've eaten in some of the most unbelievable restaurants. Food is my vice. I'm a Michelin star hunter.
Oh, wow.
It's like a top 5 restaurant for me in the world.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Oh,
So
that's
tell
great.
them I sent you.
Okay, we'll do.
We'll
We'll
do
do
that.
that.
And then since you are such a foodie, favorite snack, Disney snack?
It's really probably a cocktail in the canteen in Star Wars.
Oga's
Oga's
Cantina.
Cantina?
Yeah.
Yeah, Skipper's Cantina. Not Skipper's Cantina. That's Magic Kingdom.
Oga's. Right. Yeah. You
yeah,
know
the-
your Disney though. Hello.
Olga, that's right. Yeah, Olga's.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be something like that, but family-friendly answer is gonna be Dole Whip.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
You
You know,
made
I'm
Brett
going
very
to,
happy.
It's the Pacific Islander in me, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
before I get to my last question, I got to tell you, my trip was canceled in 2020. I've never been to Galaxy's Edge. I'm going with my son in a couple of days. Am I just going to cry when I get there? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's going to happen. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll prepare myself for it.
Are you doing the lightsaber?
I am. So we decided to go all out. He's building a droid. He's building a droid. I'm building a lightsaber. Then we're going to Oga's. It's going to be like boom, boom, boom. It's going to be great.
He is going to lose his mind where the lightsaber thing is concerned. I really want. You know what? Is somebody on my team here? We're gonna make this happen.
Anything
We're gonna make
wrong.
this.
Yes, I'm here. Chantal's here.
I'm gonna get him a lightsaber too, so that he can build one with you. I cried. It's one of the most beautiful. Like I genuinely, I shed a tear. It's like,
oh my gosh,
building the lightsaber as an experience might be one of my favorite things I've done in my life. I think it was.
Oh wow!
It was such a beautiful. Oh my god! The actor that's in there. I look up videos on YouTube every once in a while of the experience. Don't look it up if you have already.
No, I haven't. You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you, and I'm gonna make sure that your son.
Oh my gosh!
Too.
Wow!
I don't know who's around that can help on my team that can help us connect. We'll make it happen.
Oh,
Jordan, can you hear me or no?
I sure can. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what was going on. Yes, I can. I'll get in contact with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. We've really enjoyed our time with you, Jordan, and just the art and creativity that you put out into the world helps get so many people through their day, helps them be able to have some shared experiences and take some valuable lessons. We know that you do literally hundreds of interviews all of the time. And so I'm wondering if there's some kind of message or story that you're not often asked about that you would like to share as we start to wrap up here with our audience.
It's really sweet. We need kindness, y'all. That's really it. We need to just be kind to each other. That's like, no one talks about that. No one really cares to bring that up. But man, I'm probably only talking about it right now is because I need it right now, extra in my life. But everyone does. Everyone just needs to like be a little more patient with each other, be a little more gentle with each other, and be a little more kind to each other. Yeah, that's really it. I don't have a story for everybody. I don't have an anecdote. I don't have like some sage words of wisdom. I just encourage everyone strongly to just try to be as kind as you can to everyone around you. That's really it.
Perfect answer. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And just so you know, my son, I know that it's not maybe a sore subject, that it's not in the parks right now, but my son listens to Happily Ever After so often. He just absolutely loves it. And he's excited. He's 6, so he's so excited. So thank you. Liam is his name.
Liam. My middle name's William.
Oh, perfect. That's wonderful. That's great. Thank you so much for your time today, Jordan. Absolutely. And thank you for everything.
Blast at the parks. Much love.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Jordan Fisher is so cool and so great. It was just a delight to get a chance to chat with him today. I am excited that we had that opportunity to talk some of the parks. We talked about Turning Red. We talked about therapy and mental health. We squeezed a lot into that 30-minute interview, didn't we? So, Brett, what are your thoughts on our interview with Jordan?
Oh, you can tell that he's a Disney fan, and we certainly relate to that a little. Well, okay, big time. So that was great. And just to hear about his career and, you know, where he is in his career, and he's done so much. And I look forward to whatever's next for him. And I look forward to getting off this, our interview here and making reservations for Tiffin's, because apparently that is one of the best restaurants in the world. So I can't wait to do that.
Yeah, we need to go check out Tiffin's for sure. I may need to go and check and see if there's any reservations available for the trip. I don't know. Might have to make some changes to the plans here. Just great to get to talk to him about it. It's cool because you can see so much that he loves the parks. He referenced, Vanessa, you asked him about John Stamos, who famously is huge into Disney. He referenced Neil Patrick Harris. I think he is absolutely in that mold of like these people that they get a chance to see the company and they work with the company, but then they also have this just amazing love for what Disney brings to the world, sort of the messages that they bring and the parks and everything about it. It's just so cool. So Vanessa, what are your thoughts on the interview with Jordan?
Oh my gosh, he was so wonderful. I so enjoyed talking to him. First of all, he had me at Hidden Mickey tattoo, which now I'm thinking, well, maybe I need a Hidden Mickey tattoo. Maybe we all need, maybe it'll be a bonding experience if we all go out and get Hidden Mickey tattoos.
That's the one I was going to have if I ever have it, so.
Yeah, like it'd be so cool. But yes, he is definitely becoming one of those iconic Disney dads. I'm sure we will see more of Jordan Fisher throughout his career as he continues working with Disney. He's just really becoming one of those persons. He is one of those persons that we see so much of him and we respect, because not only do they do a great job of using their artistic craft to tell these wonderful stories, to be a part of Disney film and Disney shows, but also that love of Disney. Like he really gets it. And we just so appreciate that. And like you said, Craig, I love that he wanted to talk about mental health and how that's so important and therapy is so important. I mean, preach, I put my hand up. I'm like, preach, Jordan Fisher. I subscribe to that as well. And I think it was just a great interview and talking about a great film that has a lot of important messaging that is helpful for people. And I think Jordan said it best at the very end, which is kindness. Kindness absolutely matters. And we need to share a little bit more of that. I am going to say something unkind though, and that is Jordan got it wrong. Backstreet Boys all the way.
Oh,
No,
see,
you got it right.
I'm
NSYNC
huge
too,
into
yeah.
NSYNC. Brett
Well,
and I,
sorry,
we're
Vanessa.
outnumbered. So bye to
Yeah.
you, Vanessa.
Turkey
Anyway,
leg, no. Yeah, Backstreet Boys. No.
We'll never agree.
I will say the kindness message, and he's set up well for fatherhood because the message that he took from the movie really got me thinking as a parent and thinking about seeing it from that perspective. I can't wait to watch this film again from that perspective, and it's just so wonderful. But talk about kindness and the kindness that he showed to us. If something does happen, and you might have already heard it, I don't know, because we haven't heard the interview, but if something does happen, certainly I'll talk about it in my trip report from Walt Disney World as well. But Brett, any final thoughts on Jordan, on the movie, on anything that you'd like to say as we wrap up?
Well, as far as Turning Red, I can't wait to see it again. You know, I say that. I can't wait to see it again.
Awesome. And what about Jordan?
Oh,
Can't wait to see him again?
You know, so he was talking about Dancing with the Stars, and it's like this alumnus sort of, experience. I don't know. Are they going to have, Dancing with the Stars reunion?
Oh,
I don't know. Is that an idea?
Oh,
I don't know. Well,
perhaps.
I'll be there.
Perhaps.
I'll be there watching because, Jordan's a boy now.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
he's so great.
Vanessa, any final thoughts? Turning Red.
Because
Fisher.
I don't think we'll do a Turning Red movie further discussion after this interview. So listeners to Beyond the Mouse, please, please, please go watch this movie and then talk to me about Twerking Red Panda. It's giving me life. It is very much realistic to my childhood and and I love it so much. And I want to cry thinking about Twerking Red Panda because it is the funniest thing that has ever happened in a Pixar film. Ever.
It is so great. It is so wonderful. And I don't think we can end on anything better than that. If you are listening to us for the first time because of Jordan Fisher's interview, thank you. Please go back and listen to any of our other interviews, and also just the three of us talking about general Disney madness around here. We love talking Disney every single Friday. You can find us on social media, Beyond the Mouse Pod on Instagram. You can also find us on Twitter, Beyond Mouse, and Facebook. You have two opportunities. You have the Beyond the Mouse podcast page, but also we really would love you to join Beyond the Mouse Podcast Pals, which is our group. They're going to be the first to find out that we had this conversation with Jordan. They're also the first to talk to us about things about the parks, get some of our pictures from the parks and our experiences, and just talking about general Disney. It's just a positive Disney community that you can go and join. I also want to put out one special last thank you to Pixar for the opportunity to view Turning Red, and then also to Jordan for his time today. It was just remarkable getting to talk to him. So for Beyond the Mouse, I am Craig.
I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Brett.
And we will see you real soon in the front row. Maybe twerking in front of the movie screen.
I can't stop. I'm reenacting that scene to everyone I know. I'm like, and then the panda did this, and the panda did this, and it was shaking it.